About roles and responsibilities for our sporting model. Okay. Firstly, the first position or role is manager. This is a person who needs to provide a positive role model for everyone else to follow. They need to do a whole bunch of work with the other managers as well. So they'd have to get together and decide the competition format, decide on the characteristics that the competition will have. So the whole draw and that sort of thing. How many rounds are you going to have? What's the other teams going to be doing if there's only space for 2 games or 1 game to be going and 2 teams to be involved? You have to work with all the job roles to help them to be successful and ensure that they do their job really well and hold them accountable if they don't. You need to communicate with others to collaboratively solve problems and to make decisions as well. You also need to work closely with the teachers, so myself and Miss Landsey, to ensure that the season is rewarding for all. You need to prepare lists of tasks for the duty team. You need to organise the end of season event. Are we going to have a prize giving? What does that prize giving look like? What are we giving out? What sort of awards are you going to give? You need to also observe players throughout the season and decide who's going to get those awards that you've come up with. Coaches need to have really good knowledge of skills and strategies required in whatever sport you guys decide to do. If they do not, they need to make sure that they need to know how to find it on the internet and books through other coaches and the like. You need to be able to identify problems with the team's performance just by observing it, or maybe getting other people in, getting advice from them so that you can plan your training sessions around that. You need to be really organised, so you need to have your coaching sessions that's sorted, written up, and some sort of lesson plan format, and there will be a little template on this HyperDoc. You need to lead the team mentally by having a positive attitude at all times and really enthusiastic, so that you're sort of selling your product to your team. You need to, much like the manager, observe players throughout the season and decide who's going to get the rewards or awards. You need to ensure that all players join in, and if they're not, find out why they're not and what you could do to try to get them involved. You need to try to make sure everyone gets a fair go. Remember, this is about participation, not necessarily winning. So we want to make sure everybody's getting a fair amount of time on the court or on the field. And along with the captain, sort out any disputes that might come up. There's always going to be a few issues within teams. So it's up to you to try to keep their team as harmonious and happy as possible. The captain is supposed to toss the coin at the start of the game, but you might decide it's going to be paper, scissors, rock or something different. You need to decide on your uniform for your team and ensure that they're all wearing it. It's the only player who's allowed to actually discuss decisions with the referee, so make sure that no one else in your team is arguing with the ref. You need to lead your team in games by setting a good example in terms of your behaviour, your sportsmanship and the like. You need to make sure you're thanking the referee, scorers and the opposition before and after games, along with the coach, sort out any disputes. You also need to have good communication skills, able to encourage and inspire others and listen to what other people say and take that on board. The fitness trainer is to monitor team performance by keeping a record of how the team has trained or played, and that will hopefully give you some tips on what you can focus your next training session on. You need to design and implement warm-ups and cool-downs for both trainings and games. You need to design fitness sessions for your trainings. You need to consult with the coaches about the correct warm-up and cool-down procedures. You need to devise training drills that will help your team to improve. This may require a bit of research as well, so you can get online or ask around. Don't just try to come up with it on the spot. Referees need to work out the rules of the tournament with the sports board, if that's what you decide you're going to have. And that could be the manager, it could be a whole bunch of different people. You need to learn the rules. You need to have some understanding of the basic rules just to make the basic calls, but you should do that confidently. You need to be fair. You can't be favouring one side or the other. You need to let games flow by calling out only essential stoppages. The aim of a referee is just to help guide a game, not to take over it. You need to make your own decisions. Don't let other people tell you what to do. Be firm, be fair, be really consistent. That's probably the most important thing. Blow your whistle loudly. Nice, short, sharp blows of your whistle. Use your clear, confident voice so you can tell players what you're wanting to happen. And you need to go with your first decision. It's usually the right one. If you see something happen, don't let people try to talk you out of it. And again, the only person who should be talking to you is the captain. So the rest of you who become players, you need to make sure you do these things. You need to make sure you're always very reliable, that you're there in class on time, that you have your equipment. If you don't have the correct equipment, you need to try to source it before your session. Okay, if you're not going to be there, you need to make sure you're communicating with confidence to your teammates, to your coach, to your manager, to your captain and the like. If you're coach has organised a session that requires a certain amount of people there, and all of a sudden 2 people are missing, then he or she obviously has to go back and redo that session. So, communicate with them so they don't put heaps of work into something that can't happen because you're not there. Never try to do more than you've been asked to do. Okay, try to push yourself outside your comfort zone, come up with some cool ideas, do a bit of research yourself, and when it comes time to try new things, make sure that you're adapting quickly and easily. Okay, don't just sit on the sideline and observe and do nothing. Get stuck in and be part of the change instead of watching the change. Lastly, you need to display genuine commitment. Okay, so get stuck in, buy into what your team's trying to do, understand that a team is actually built up of many people, and the success of the team is only going to be good if you're involved and if you're going hard yourself. Also, be respectful of the fact that a lot of other people have put in lots of work. So, you need to go hard and try to work for your team, or ensure that everyone else is participating and having fun. Awesome. If you have any other roles that you think we've missed out on, I think you should chuck them in here, make sure that you've got some responsibilities for those roles. Talk to the other teams as well to see if they wanted to chuck them in there. But that's really up to you guys. If you want someone who's like the hype man, who's bringing the oranges at halftime, that sort of stuff, then that's cool too. You can also add any other responsibilities to the roles that we've already got. So when you go through for your assessment work, okay, this is one of the first things we do. Take a picture of your team and put it here. Also come up with your team name, put it at the top, and delete this instruction box and put the names of your team in there. Then once you've decided on your roles, put your name of the people from your team who have those roles, and then any other positions or roles that you feel important, put them in here too. Awesome, guys. Thanks a bunch. See ya.